Hi, welcome to this episode, this webinar episode. So this week I was working very much on the change mission, the choice, how to stay relevant under change. So many changes are happening, and I see people in webinar in LinkedIn looking for changes, and there are so many jobs available in LinkedIn as well, but don't doesn't it appear very strange that people are not getting them? So if they're not getting them, what is the reason? What do you think must be the reason? So I think that people are not uh, ready to accept whatever has happened, and those are very normal. In case of COVID, many people have lost jobs. Even the very senior people, very talented, qualified people, they have lost jobs. So it is nothing new that people be looking for jobs. So let me share the screen and discuss about the uh, situation, how to handle uh, change. So let me first welcome all of you to this session of webinar wherein we discuss. So how to handle change. Let me start with that. So this one was when COVID happened. Many first time managers, they lost jobs, and it is not those who are who didn't have the first time. Just a minute. Sorry about that. So it was the first time managers who actually face the problem of why how to how, the change. Many people have lost job, and those are not relevant. Those jobs which are redundant, those jobs were went off. Now what happens when you feel stuck? So when you lose a job, of course, you when you lose a job, of course, you feel anger, you feel aggrieved, you feel sad, and there are a lot many complaints why the other person didn't lose the job and why did you lose the job. So these are the problems that keeps on happening. So let me quickly run you through about this problems that has happened, why people have lost jobs. So when you are in a job that you are complaining or you have lost jobs for say 2 to 3 years, and now suddenly you have come to what was that element which actually caused for job loss? Were you doing something which was very common? It was not something very special, which was not very essential for the company. which was not in the primary list of the company. So when this happens, actually, subconsciously, you are also complaining a lot because you are not in the main stream of the jobs. So when this happens, you are acting at a 20% productivity level, and it affects all your life areas. So I'm learning this tricks, the tricks of the trade from 12 mentors. So after so many years, 25 years of experience that I have, still I am learning from 12 mentors, because learning is always, the main purpose why I am learning is I need to replicate whatever I have done so far. So that will only happen through the digital ages. So I am learning all those even after 25 years of experience. So that is my first question. 12 mentors and one super mentor, and I'm learning from the mentors of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I have been recently certified as a coach by the Blair Singer training academy. Now, many people think that the job that other people are having are a straight line upwards. It is not so. It because you have lost the job right now. So the next time you will get a job, it will be a way backward, right? So it is never simply linearly upward, um, and linear. It is never so. It is in loops. Here is the career graph that has been presented by Rian Roslansky, the CEO of LinkedIn. So let us come to the change, how to stay relevant in change. So I call that as choice. Let us give that a name. Change is a choice. If we do that, then what are the components of choice? Those are a challenge, hustle, obsession, intent, commitment, and enthusiasm. So why not define our change into choice? That is what I am trying to tell you. So what happens when a change happens? It is you who is and visualizing change. But what happens normally in a company scenario is the old status quo takes time to rebuild into the new status quo. In between, people will have resistance. People will have um, uh, certain they don't have the skills to get a change. Integration doesn't happen because change might bring on, say, other companies to merger of the companies. Some companies will be downsizing, all those things. So what I did when i I had a change, so the first resistance that brought to my mind was, I was a project manager and something has happened. I was managing people a lot, maybe, and maybe my chairman had a great vision in mind, which is why he took me to the position of HR head. So it was, what did I have to resist? Why I resisted was I was so attached to that role of project manager because I had a dream set out there. So from that dream to take up the dream of being the HR head, it took me some resistance. Why? Because as it is, I was never trained as a HR head. Although I had some experience of being HR, handling HR, but I didn't have the experience. So, but I became the head of HR in a that is a very prestigious job. So it takes, even if you are promoted to another position, even my uh, uh, the 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 role of project manager was very arduous. Still, I had a resistance to do that. So why when I came to term with the being the HR head, actually I helped my company to win many accolades because my company was doing significant work in livelihood finance. So I could help them win several awards, including that from the uh, SBI Foundation, and Mr. Kapil Sibal can be seen in the picture along with my CEOs and ex-CEOs. So many people are there, and this was a prestigious thing. And during this only, I could formulate this mission to impact 1 billion lives with 1 lakh super performing global players in 139 countries with multi-billion dollar enterprise. So this was a very big audacious goals that I had, but this took shape when I was the HR head. Maybe being the project manager in a small area wouldn't have given me this vision. So this is the I should call this as vision rather than mission. And vision is to make this world globally this globe cooler, warmer, cooler, and greener and calmer. So that is my vision. Let me also write that down here so that I remember. So um, my vision is to right. So that has been my vision. So then limited resources. So when after being the HR head, I was given the responsibility at Khunti, Jharkhand, wherein there was a dead watershed and there was no team to work along with me. So what were the resources? Resources were not there. I couldn't have done anything, and it was a dead watershed. So I had to work along with people, the government people, the department people, and of course the 43 villages that this watershed was entailing. So, what did I do? Actually, I took the help of the 7 watershed groups, those were formed out there, and took their help to do the work. And with their help, I redesigned the work profile and presented it to the government people, and the dead watershed was revived. So when there is a change in challenge and the challenge come in, you can think of something which is possible at that moment of time. So this was my example, what I made uh, possible. So then lack of communication also happens. So this was way back in Meghalaya. In my Meghalaya days, we had two people in charge of 2 teams. So both the teams have had roughly 80 people because we had a project which was getting implemented at Meghalaya, in which we had to set up 239 common service center. Now my boss was saying there was a lack of communication happening, of course, because of many reasons, and partly I won't say I was not responsible, but I was also responsible in uh, uh, communicating well with my boss. And he told me that you are such a perfectionist that you are not a human, because out of those 80 people that were there in my team, we were achieving target every month, and the other team was not able to achieve any target. Moreover, people were not sticking in that team. We had to constantly interview new people to man that team. So he that is why he said you are such a perfectionist that you are not a human. I asked, but how is that nobody was leaving my team? He didn't have any answer. So what I'm trying to say here is make communication as much as possible. It doesn't have to be in silo. tell them that you are achieving something, and nothing that I was doing anything spectacular. I was just getting engaged with the team. So if you have that kind of an ability, there is a normal tendency to do it alone. But communication is very important, especially uh, in such a scenario. So when such a thing happens, um, of course, it was a new project for everybody, so there was unpredictability of everything. So what the boss did as a result of this lack of communication, he stopped me from going to the field. So what did I do? I drafted a ecotourism project in Meghalaya, and contrary to the popular belief that Meghalaya wouldn't welcome strangers into their cities, normally this ecotourism thing was widely appreciated. So I formulated that. At that time, I couldn't take it forward because of certain reasons. That communication was part of that. But mm, what else can you give as a livelihood solution to the people who have uh, profuse natural scenario but are not resourceful or not well educated to take up anything else? So that came to stay. Then challenges at the right direction. So here I'll give one example of Ratnakar to Valmiki. All of us have this tendency of something negative going on inside our mind, but we can transform ourselves through this change. Why changes come and bring challenges along with them. So find out the opportunity to transform yourself, because we all the time are looking to get transformed to the next level. So here is the story of Valmiki. It was a robber, Ratnakar, which was transformed to Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana. Now, who changed this? Sage Narad was his counselor, and someday he asked to robber Ratnakar that who will take his karma, that he was killing people, robbing people, who will take his karma? Why he was doing that, those killing and snatching things from people? He was saying he was trying to earn the livelihood. He was trying to feed his family. So then Narad asked him, the karma that you are gaining, who will be? Your family will be party to all this karma? So he said, of course, my family will be party to all. So then Narad asked him to go and ask his wife, his children, whether they will be party to whatever he was doing. So when he went and asked his children said, no, 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 we are not going to be party to any of things that you are doing. It is your job to feed us, and that's it. We are not going to be party. And then Ratnakar went to his wife, asking that she was the wife, so she was uh, like say his partner in heaven and hell. So he asked whether she will be party to his karma. She also said she might be the wife, but she won't be a partner in this crime. Now this changed Valmiki. So why he was doing so much? So then he said he could do something else. It is not that he was only capable of killing people. He was thinking that it was the easiest way to do. How many of us think that whatever we are doing is the easiest thing to be doing, and we keep on doing that, even though it is not getting us anything, any new learning, any new transformation, nothing. So he got transformed, and we can take his learning. like it can be a spiritual practice. It was the story of transformation and how we can help ourselves with self-reflection and introspection, and how to take a mentor and transform ourselves, and how to have the blessings by forgiving other people, and the power of uh, doing a penance so that we can overcome the it was an old time thing, but right now also, if we want to transform ourselves, some kind of penance is required, some kind of hard work is required, some kind of transformation within the mind is required. And when we are clueless, we need to accept all those changes that is coming our way. Difficulty in maintaining consistency leads down the right task while still being freaked out. So mm, anything new that comes, it will freak you out if you are not writing down the right task. So recently what happened, as I have been telling, I was undergoing the portfolio change. My portfolio was changed to something. And why it was changed? Because I was the most experienced person in the team and I could do something if I wanted. Now, nobody told me to write down that compile or outline my portfolio. What were the tasks? So, was it to speak to people? Was how to help them? So, I didn't have any idea, but nobody could help us. So, they were saying, you can do this, you can do that, but that, speaking to people, all of us, how to do that. So, I wrote down still whatever I understood, I wrote down about 14 to 15 ideas. Till now, I have been working on only 4 to 5. All others are still to be developed. No? So anything and everything that comes to your mind, you should write down so that you are doing something or other every day. Effective of change. So while you are thinking of doing something new, you can be with your thought process, you might be ahead of your time, just like I did in beekeeping. So there was no mention of beekeeping in that project I was doing way back in 2011 to 2015. So every year, and why I did that? Because bee, the Indian Serena was the bee local bee, which was there found, and it was nowhere else to be found. So there was some reason why that bee was at that place, right? And bee helps pollination, that was my idea. And since we were doing organic farming, so beekeeping was essential, that was my idea. So when I was doing this, I didn't know that I was also contributing to the climate risk. It was climate smart agriculture, part of that also. I didn't know that. But when I read some story in COP 27, COP 26, there was out of those 26 leaders, those were identified who were the brand ambassador of COP 26. One of them was a beekeeper. So after so many years, about 8 to 9 years, I could find the justification of what was my heart telling. So when you are doing something, it is very difficult to measure the effectiveness of change, and whatever you are accepting is appropriate. But listen to your heart and abide by as much as possible. Then aligning with changing values do not change; those are restyled. As I said, your values won't change, but suppose everybody wants the organization's betterment, right? So one will have people to work on their way, whatever way, and they can um, take up their own ways. And there will be some other boss who wants more discipline into coming. He has to have one discipline, one formula as to how people will behave. So it is just the realignment of your ideas. Previously, you were doing whatever was coming to your head. Now you are doing according to a better. Only that much. Training and development, of course, in a change it is required. Opt for lifelong learning. Create substantial number of your work, of evidences of whatever you are doing. Whenever there is a change, keep pace with that change. So I did SHGs. So there were self-help groups of ladies, and everybody was appreciating that I had 27 lively SHGs going. So that was the only appreciable and tangible effect of whatever I was doing. Create a profile with 5 headlines. So as I said, it is not that people will give you. If you are in a very senior position, it is not that people will work out your profile. So you have to work out your profile, and what profile do you need given the situation, the kind of work. So write 5 headlines for yourself as to what you want to become, and work according to that. And whenever you are working on any one of that, you have to have a performance tracker of dreams and goals for yourself. And whatever you are doing, keep on sharing with people and make new collaboration. Now LinkedIn is hustling and bustling with new ideas. Explore LinkedIn. And here is what I have done with Grameen uh, Bank and Professor Mohammed Yunus. Learn a new skill, brush up one. So when this change came to my life, I opted for analyzing data, which required 1 lakh data points. Now, where from it started, I was a social researcher in my early life, which I took advantage of. And also I did this data tracking in 2010. So now the change has come. Anything, any skill that you have that can be utilized whenever you want. So go back to those skills, whatever is appropriate for right now. Be flexible, working with core values. So mine was titles, and I always believed in inclusion, social dignity, abundance, learning, and joy, and also peacefulness, which I call as tranquility. So focus on ultimate objective, which is leadership growth, helping people to grow as leaders, become more. And wherever I am, I help them with this core values of, so they want in forms of reward, expertise, salary raise, promotion, opportunity, recognition, and incentive. But leadership growth is the core of personal transformation, which will bring them this. So at whatever point I am, I help people achieve this. So was I influencing with the resourcefulness? So what are resources? What are the process? Who you need to become and why the choice? These are existing resources, utilization of existing resources that I took out, and these are the 4 steps with which I keep on working. So these are the basic things that already I have in my profile, which you can also have. Uniqueness of yourself, how you have proven your resilience to people earlier, how you have influenced people with your resilience, and how you have established your prominence. And it is always about managing self, about what you think about yourself, what people think about yourself, and how you want to be remembered. So, overcoming challenges is influencing what challenges, what process, how, who you team up with, and why it is necessary. And there are 4 ways of resourceful influencing. It creates a chain reaction. This is why I stick to this resourceful influencing concept while in change. It helps you to to overcome challenges of change. So it wins. It wins recognition, creates resilience, overcomes struggles, unravels relevance. Um, and up to that one, and propels towards reaching beyond without feeling burnt out. Now, stay positive, helping the small institutions group. That is my right now. That is my goal. Stack the efforts. So this is one small things that I wanted to. I always benefited myself with. Whatever you are doing, don't delete that. Don't discount that. Build on that. So what I did when I started this data analysis, the first thing that I did was I was tracking how many times these districts or these states have gone into high risk scoring. Now, the number of times they went to into this high risk zone, I call them as vulnerability score. Now, that was not very relevant when I started because the background work was not visible in that. So, suppose I say Jammu Kashmir, 7 times it went to be high risk zone in a year. Now, why? There was just only one district in that which was under microfinance. And why it is so? Sometimes it goes high risk, sometimes it becomes normal. How it is so? So I didn't have the answer to that. That means what? I had to analyze more data points, right? So this next thing that I started doing is I took all the data points, their average value, the max value, and compared it with every district's performance over a period of 12 months. Then it started making more sense. Once it made sense, now I'll be comparing that with since 2019, so that over a period of time, the time series data will be there. So these are the efforts, stage one, stage two, stage three. This has to be stacked for being effective, right? Compounding force of small wins. These take small wins, whatever coming to your way, and those will like you when you word formation game do you play? So people wait for big words, but what I always did was working out around small like say eat, ate, all these words. Actually, I scored on, and that made huge scores. Explore the available schemes to educate local officials. How I took the calculated risk. At Bandhavgarh, there was a Rajiv Gandhi Jyoti Yojana, Gram Jyoti Yojana. So it was about electrifying the villages, right? So in addition to that, there was another scheme which was giving irrigation facility also, like three-phase electricity. And if it was a local tribe involved, then the cost came to 10% of the entire cost only. So it was a project of, say, more than 50 lakhs, but it came to only 5 lakhs for two projects. So nobody before that was interested in doing that. But we educated the local officials into this because this is a scheme and nobody would have taken the courage to implement it unless there was somebody else promoting this. So this is what I did. And as a result, huge areas got irrigated because of this electricity. They could install pumps, solar pumps, and diesel pumps also. So when there is a change, a dream, one obsession has to be there. And this actually allows you to take risks. And my dream was to have the illiterate ladies as to be my boss. So that spelled out a huge dream of mine about helping these people to these ladies to prosper so much so that they could afford my salary also. It was a huge spelling out of a dream. Bring in food sufficiency was clearly defined goal. Make it known, brief with reports. These are small things, but these need to be done. Big tasks need unusualness. So when all that I am describing, these are over 4 to 5 projects, and each time there was a some kind of unusualness that I had done. Actually, I have described here. So it doesn't have any pattern kind. So you can now see that there is a lot of things that needs to be learned in case of when one starts learning about how to be happy and how to be capable of standing out in a job scenario. So if that is so, then you know you need to be very systematic in your learning, and that is why you need to come to this systematic discipline of learning and getting trained. These are few of my slides that I have. And if you know that you need to learn more, then you have to come to this discipline and at least come to this job where you can do something new and make yourself capable of winning a job. Don't you agree? So there is nobody right now watching here in Zoom, but in YouTube you might be watching. So if you are interested in getting into this course for for a year, then this course will be available at a